Wealth and glory to the winner!
Think of an animated series that has been turned into a game and then given every genre treatment. I'm talking grid-based strategy, shooters, platformers, anything you could think of. The only two that come to mind are Sailor Moon and Gundam. And in recent years, Sailor Moon has not been given the love it deserves. But Gundam's still been hanging on. And in the genre we're talking about today, well, that's fighters.
Over the last year, fighting games have been a big thing for me. If you've been following me, I've recapped what I loved about my favorite Street Fighter titles, and lately, I've been playing a lot of Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising. Kind of making a mix of Anila and Ladiva right now. Like, really, Prag, Felicia, and Anila are your mains? You sure you're not a fur? Listen, man, the last time I tried to main a standard white old dude, they killed him in the last game, I think. But my love for animal-themed fighting game characters is only matched by Gundam. And longtime fans may also remember that I praised the second installment of the Gundam Battle Assault series, and tore apart the third installment. But I said little of the first game, and I want to rectify that. And it's a pretty interesting story because the first Battle Assault has a weird history. That being, it really isn't the first installment at all. Before Battle Assault, there was Gundam the Battle Master in Japan. These featured iconic suits actually piloted by original characters. Instead of Amuro Ray and Char Aznable, you'd have Mercury Promenade and Largo Ford, which, if I'm being honest, totally qualify as Gundam names. This was a pretty unique take, seeing original characters pilot mobile suits that were all well known and beloved at this point. What brought about the change is that Gundam Wing was slowly sweeping the American young audience. The success of Toonami slowly showing series from Japan was birthing a new generation of fans spanning all types of anime, and Gundam Wing was a big one. So when the Battle Masters was getting a second game, the localization brought about a pretty dramatic change. In an odd choice, players would take the role of Hiro Yui, as he chooses which mobile suits to take in the arcade mode. This could range anywhere from his standard Wing Gundam to Act Guy, and what's more, Hiro would kind of have an opinion on each suit. This probably reflects just how difficult these suits might be to use in an arcade run. I do find it funny that he's kind of like, I don't know about that one. So in this way, the game does still keep the feel of a character using a mobile suit that they might not typically use, but only to Hiro Yui. Versus mode would have characters using their respective suits. This also does cause a mistake of your opponent referring to whatever suit that you're playing as a Gundam, when in actuality that may not be the case. It was a fresh start, we were learning here. Any praise I gave the combat from Battle Assault 2 could easily have its credit due to the first game. Gundam Battle Assault is pretty mechanically rich for what it is, with abilities like dashing, hovering, spot dodging, grapple stuns, and critical strikes that can't be blocked along with specials. Seriously impressive stuff for a game that does cater to the stiff, rigid movement of a mobile suit. It's an odd combination that works surprisingly well. The cosmetic appeal of jointed sprites working together is still prevalent, and even the beautiful battle damage that comes from attacking the same area on an opponent is there as well. This was honestly some of my favorite aspects from the Battle Assault series. It's a good representation of how a mobile suit battle would be, and also a testament to how well you did in the round. The arcade mode does have a bit of charm to it as well. Hiro Yui has a small conversation with every opponent, which usually showcases the character's personality and beliefs, like Puru 2 struggling to realize that she's her own person, or how Gato is bent on avenging his fallen comrades. It's cool to see Hiro chat with these characters that canonically he'd never know, even getting a chance to sympathize with some of them. Battle Assault 2 has some of this, but its story mode was reserved for characters fighting against opponents they actually knew, and those they didn't would usually result in a nothing statement at the end of the round. While of course this was done to have the player use a character they'd recognize at the time, it did work pretty well, and it does still lead you going up against the Hydra Gundam, something that is in Gundam Wing. What is a little weird is that despite recognizing Hiro, fans that were only familiar with Gundam Wing wouldn't really recognize much else. Series span from the OG Gundam, at least with the Zaku 2, to Zeta Gundam, and even Char's counterattack with the Sazabi. Really, there are a lot of mobile suits that even big fans at the time may not recognize, like the Queen Mantha and the Psycho Gundam Mark III. But it would be a lot to expect to rework sprites to more familiar suits and characters. But I guess that's really what Battle Assault 2 was all about. Having a more wing-centric cast and even more suits from the original Gundam, as well as other mobile suits that were shown on air in North America. I am happy to say that Gundam Battle Assault still features some seriously funky music. I'd even go as far to say that this OST tops Battle Assault 2. I do love Battle Assault 2's more rock-oriented soundtrack, but there is something about this one that is just so good. But the best theme is reserved for one of the most unexpected suits. Ball. Yep, Ball. Ball has the best song. I mean, listen to this. No, I didn't unlock him. You had to beat like hard mode or something, and I'm not doing that. Going back to the original Battle Assault was a blast and a pretty unexpected experience. But if I was going to put my original favorite, Battle Assault 2, and this head to head, I'd still go with Battle Assault 2. Battle Assault 2 does a great job at making the combat and gameplay feel a bit more refined, which should be the entire point of a new installment, especially when it comes to a fighting game. I do like the idea of Hero getting to choose which suit he'd like to pilot, but I like the variety of playing through story-centered episodes with different characters. Hero getting different suits is cool, but the playthrough really is the same result. The combat being more refined is a major point here too. When I said the feel of the gameplay resembles that of clunky mobile suits, I mean it. And while it feels intentional in 2, 1 has the feeling like this is intentional but also just kind of clunky gameplay that they couldn't really help. The speed is great, but the inputs seem to get confused at times, and you can just end up spawning a shield and taking some of your health as a cost by accident. Some of the attacks are hard to pull off perfectly every time, which was a problem I had in the second installment, but never this bad. As much as I do love the arcade mode in this one, a lot of the battles can still be this result of just kicking this huge machine while it's turned around. And there's not much you can do to avoid that. I mean, I felt it was better in 2, but this was kind of the end result for me. Probably shouldn't have chosen the O. Gundam Battle Assault stands as a testament that you can have a fighter with using heavy, clunky mobile suits. And it's something I'd love to see in this day and age, especially as this past year has given us some of the best looking and feeling games we've seen in a long time. Hell, let Arc Systems have a crack at it. It would just how wonderful they've made Guilty Gear and Grand Blue. It's time for a new Battle Assault. I mean, hell, what else are we doing? Definitely not any more Side Story or Dynasty Warrior games.
And with that, I think we've covered just about every Gundam Battle Assault. There's really not much else to say. Don't look at that one. We're done here.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. It's been a good minute since I've covered something Gundam, and this just felt right to do. If you liked the video, leave a like and consider subscribing if you're new. As always, thanks for watching, have a great day, and keep it practical.